Hello and welcome, beautiful, vibrant souls, to today's pick a card reading. So today we're going to be talking about what is wrapping up for you as this Mercury retrograde is ending, wrapping up. We're a couple days from the end at the time I'm filming this. There will be still a shadow period. I think it's safe to say as well, you can also apply this to whatever time you're finding this, cycles that are wrapping up for you. But this is with a specific focus of the recent retrograde we've had through Virgo and Libra. So there's been a huge emphasis and focus on good routines, good, mind, body, spirit connection, making sure we're balanced in all areas of our lives in order to be as healthy and fulfilled as possible, but also a huge emphasis on healthy partnerships. That's really at the intersection of these two signs. So a lot of us have been facing things from the past coming back around, either for resolution, for clarity, to show us kind of how far we've come, what still needs to be healed. So these are really going to be what we're looking at, is what of the things that have come up for you over this retrograde, what is kind of wrapping up now, right? In order for you to be able to move forward and getting more clarity and information on that. So as usual, we have 3 piles to choose from today, love bugs. We have pile 1 with this solar plexus chakra stone that says, I do. Can you see that? Since I'm good at holding it outside the frame. Nice. Okay, cool. We have pile 2 with this throat chakra stone that says, I speak. Oh, excuse my burp. And pile 3 with this lovely purple crown chakra stone that says, I know. Okay, so take time, meditate, contemplate on the stacks in front of you. Once you have found one that you really feel drawn to, that resonates with your energy, please head down to the corresponding timestamp in the description box below, and that will bring you to your selected option. So with that, I'm going to start with pile 1. Oof, excuse me. Okay, hi pile 1. So this stone sometimes can kind of settle with me different ways. Sometimes this has a little bit of an element of it makes me think of saying I do, so it can kind of make me think of like a contract and a cord. But in this particular case, what I'm almost getting here is, hang on, I'm sorry, my allergies are killing me. What I'm almost getting here is that I feel like this retrograde is wrapping up in such a way where you are ready to move forward on something. This almost feels like I'm getting this image of like, boop, like holding your own hand. Like this is, you are making a promise to yourself, or you are taking action on something that will be it will be a healthy fit for you. It will be a more supportive energy for you. So I feel like this is kind of you confirming or affirming to yourself, like, yes, I am doing this. I am moving forward in this direction. They're showing me somebody giving like an emphatic like nod. I don't know if you could see the camera shake. That's what I was doing behind the scenes. I was like acting it out. But I do feel like, this is the solar plexus chakra. So this is really about your personal power. And, taking action. This is that divine masculine energy. So it's about how we take action in the world around us and how we, again, confirm and affirm our power. So I feel like this retrograde may have brought things to your attention where, because I'm also really drawn into the image, and it's kind of like with this design, it's like what's at the center of your, like what was at the epicenter of a pattern or a problem for you, and I feel like you're getting clarity on how to move forward from that. It's worthwhile considering as well that both, Virgo and Libra, Virgo rules the 6th house, Libra rules the 7th house. So as a result, the 6th house can talk about our daily like 9 to 5. And Libra can talk about partnerships. Libra is also ruled by Venus. So this can also apply not only to interpersonal relationships, but your work life, your business relationships, your business partnerships. So I did just kind of want to mention that. But let's look at the cards that you have. We have, red jasper with conviction. And this is card 25 that reduces to a 7. I'm trying a new setup here, so bear with me as I'm like scooting stuff aside, because you guys know how I am about the cards anyway. So we have, oh, loss. This is card 5. Get over here. Cute little aesthetic gravel. These look deceptively like nerds, and I get really excited about it, and I'm like, no, don't eat them. Oh, judgment. Okay. Card 46, that reduces to a 10, which reduces to a 1. Interesting, we have a lot of blue here as well. Wow, completion. Okay. How do I want to do this? Sorry, I'm not great at arranging the cards. We have the Page of Wands. This is the Sufi Tarot, by the way, and she is lovely. How do I want to do this? All right, just bear with me. Page of Wands. Wow, okay. The Four of Wands reversed. And the Fool. Okay, we love that. All right. So let's see where we want to start here. This feels pretty clear to me. There was a really promising partnership for many of you, especially with this Four of Wands. This is kind of indicating this is either, you know, a romantic partner, like a divine counterpart, or somebody who you felt like was a divine counterpart. This can also talk about like family or members of your soul tribe, right? The Four of Wands is our happiness, our joy, and it's very stable joy. And I think part of the reason why with the Wands energy is that it's really connecting with us at the soul. And that's why there's that sense of stability. We also have the yellow and the orange here, so this kind of, you know, marriage of the masculine and feminine energies. Excuse me. I feel like there's something where this is really, really difficult. A lot of you, I feel like, experience the loss of a significant partnership, whether romantic or otherwise, right? We see that here. And the image on the Judgment card, so I feel like this came back around in some way, shape, or form, right? We have this two people that kind of look like they're arguing, right? And we have the 10, which is always about completion of a cycle. And then we also have completion here. With this, like, this graveyard image. Sorry. I should have thought about the setup before. I just need to get a bigger tarot board. But we have, you know, this completion image right here. This is of the sacral chakra in this deck. So I feel like a lot of you are being called to kind of process your emotions through this retrograde. Some of you may have either, excuse my burp, either called it quits on a partnership, or this partnership had ended prior to retrograde. And this retrograde, I feel like, was really about letting go of this situation, in the sense of, I feel like with this, there was an argument, there was some type of breakdown, breakup, things were falling apart. And with this image here, I feel like this retrograde, you kind of got to, like, this is like your higher self. You kind of got to take a step back and really look at it from a higher perspective. Because I feel like you guys were lost in the grief, right? In the feelings of loss around, you know, this very significant kind of deterioration, right? Excuse me. And I'm almost getting the feeling that a lot of you, like I said, it's kind of like you're taking back your personal power. You're seeing what's at the center of something. I feel like a lot of you, oh, you know what I can do? You guys. Why did I not think of that? Okay. Oh my God. All right, there we go. You know what? Aesthetics and spatial awareness, not my thing. But thanks for staying patient. Okay, I'm gonna stop fussing with it. Excuse me. A lot of you, I feel like you finally laid something to rest, right? Or if you had already, like, let's say you broke it off with somebody, I feel like this was extra hard because with the Four of Wands, you really did, back up, Sanessa. This person really was like a member of your soul family. You guys really just, like, got along. You understood each other. When things were good, you could work really well together. But this card being reversed also can indicate a lack of stability. We have 2 mirrors on this card as well. So there may have been a lot of mirroring energy going on in this situation. And I feel like this was really, really hard for you. If you called it quits, or even if, you know, they called it quits and you've been trying to cope with it, I feel like you've been hanging on to the situation, whether you were, you know, whether that's intentional or not, right? Like trying to work through it, trying to get past it. If you broke it off with this person or you ended this, you know, partnership, this contract, I feel like there's a lot of feelings of guilt. There's a lot of feelings of anxiety and worry about, did I make the right choice, right? Did I, because again, there is this really significant bond when you guys are, you know, especially if this is romantic or this is like a really solid friendship, or also with all the wands here, a creative collaborator. It's like this energy of like when you guys are, you know, when you're in a good groove, when you're in your element together, there's a lot of momentum. Things can, you know, move forward and expand pretty considerably. And it feels very spiritual because it is, right? It's of the soul. And I think it can be hard sometimes to, I'm almost noticing with the triangle of doves here, it's like to make peace with the fact that even though there is this spiritual energy between the two of you, or between, you know, like in this situation, it also needs to be balanced with a certain element of like grounded practicality, in the sense of you guys could be like soul family and be best buds at the soul, right? You could be soul pals. Or you guys could be counterparts, but like if you guys can't make it work in the 3D reality, like if there can't be a partnership based off of mutuality, respect, reciprocity, communication, right? If these things aren't coming together, and it can't really work. It doesn't matter how close you are at the soul, and that soul bond will never be broken, no matter how, you know, near or far you are to each other in the 3D. But I feel like for this group it was hard because you're having to kind of triangulate between the bond you feel spiritually and the very real problems that you guys had, particularly with this image, with communication. And so this retrograde, I feel like, was a time for you know, if you were drawn to this group, where you've really been re-examining this ending and kind of coming to the conclusion that it had to happen, or if this is something you need to take action on, that it does have to happen, right? We have judgment here. And so this is a huge turning point and a judgment call. And I say that also too because we have the Fool. Is that I feel like you and this person were working through some really important spiritual cycles for both of you. So it feels, no matter how much time you spent together, it feels big because it was big. It helped you put to rest a really huge cycle within your own life, right? Again, that judgment energy, that's a life review. That's, you know, looking at where you've been, how it got you to where you are, where you want to go and how to get there, right? What changes to make, what to keep, what to get rid of. It's a really, really important card of assessment. And I feel like this retrograde invited you to really re-examine this loss and ask yourself, is it actually a loss, or am I gaining, you know, I feel like you're looking around and finally looking at the other things you gained by this not going in the way that you had planned. Because I'm noticing there's the incense here, and then there's the broken pieces of incense here, right? And it's kind of like this is her inspiration. And it's kind of like looking at, you know, she's not busy looking at the incense that's burned off. She's enjoying the incense that's currently still burning. And there's kind of this energy of like, you know, being able to let go of what has burned away, with the recognition that it's allowing you to enjoy more of what you're currently invested in, right? The Four of Wands reverse can also serve as a card of like personal victory. So for a lot of you, I feel like this retrograde has been an opportunity to really kind of make your peace with what has happened. And what we were talking about in the beginning, you know, your personal power, deciding what's for you and what's not. I feel like it's kind of like you've reaffirmed I'm almost hearing like your vow to yourself. You've reaffirmed your commitment to yourself. And your conviction that, you know, you made the right judgment call if you like ended this situation, your conviction in your spirit team that they're leading you on the right way, like on the right path. It's like this is, I feel like, what was brought up for you. And we have two cards of like a fresh new adventure here, right? Of all the pages, the Page of Wands is like my little adventurer card, and these energies are very similar. So it's like, what's coming in essentially as this retrograde wraps up is like further feelings of kind of like conviction in your decisions, or in what has happened. This could be a reaffirmation of your faith in the universe and spirit, in yourself, But there's this like wrap up and this release of this situation, knowing like, yep, it was a loss. You know, this was a significant partnership. This did matter, but it also, you can't sacrifice your 3D happiness all the time just for the spiritual connection, right? Like I was talking about this with a friend recently, but it's this kind of energy that like, you know, being aligned in one way is not necessarily always enough to justify a lot of unhappiness, right? Being happy 30% of the time is not being happy. Especially if you tend to be prone to, you know, things will be like good for a while, or there will be those like faint glimmers of hope, and you kind of are like, oh, okay, you know, maybe we're getting on the same page again. Maybe this person sees my point of view. We can work for, like, you know, work through it. Maybe it's like essentially maybe things will be different this time, which is a beautifully optimistic, you know, viewpoint. And I think it can be hard when these things happen because you do kind of, your optimism kind of gets a little bit battered. And something I've been talking about with this friend of mine was that, you know, it can be challenging, but I think the invitation in these situations is not to lose your optimism, right? We have two very fresh, enthusiastic, optimistic cards here. Not to lose your optimism, not to find fault in your optimism, but to learn from the experience and find better places to invest your optimism in, so it is protected. Your optimism is a gift. You know, your sense of enthusiasm and excitement and vivaciousness, those are gifts from spirit. Those are gifts to be enjoyed in your lifetime, as well as a motivating force to keep going on your path. And those are not the problem. So when these situations come up, it's not to say that you're, you know, that you're being short-sighted or like being stupid for believing that, you know, good things can happen, believing in strong, you know, strong spiritual partnerships, but to just learn to hone in with especially judgment and like that discernment energy, to hone in on what deserves the beautiful gift of your belief, right? Your faith, your trust, what deserves your conviction. And that's just a learning process that life takes us through. We're all on a different journey with that. But I do feel like this is the cycle that's essentially wrapping up for you as retrograde, wraps up, in order to be able to move forward. Now, I want to know what this Fool card is kind of like. This is the general energy you're moving into, but I want to know what this new journey is more specifically. Okay, so we have the Three of Pentacles reversed. This deck is gorgeous. I know I'm talking about it a lot, but I can't help it. Oh, okay, the Two of Pentacles and the Seven of Cups. Okay, so for a lot of you, and the World is reversed at the bottom, yeah, a lot of you, you know, you're wrapping up this cycle, but what I feel like, you know, this is you're learning how to kind of find good balance. First of all, again, we have kind of this like element of decision making, weighing the pros and cons, discernment. So I feel like what this new cycle really talks about is having a much more honed sense of that judgment, right? Being able to tell, you know, this is the healthy reciprocal partnership card. Teamwork makes the dream work. So being able to tell, you know, the difference between, this kind of has this energy of the difference between actual potential and illusion, right? Because this is where, you know, you have a lot of options, you have a lot of, you know, you can see a lot of potential, but this can also be daydreams, right? So I feel like for you guys are dreamers, and it's beautiful. And I feel like this is especially applied to your interpersonal relationships and your partnerships. And the problem is, in the past, you may have kind of really invested in people's potential more than, you know, the reality of what they're showing you they're willing to do. Excuse me. Oh my God, I'm sorry. For some of you, I'm getting, oh gosh, I got it downloaded and it just totally fell out of my head. It'll come back when it's ready. But for some of you, you know, you're really learning to kind of, balance your faith and belief in other people and then what they're showing you, right? So you can see the potential in it, and like, again, that optimism, that daydreaming quality, you're seeing the different ways things that could go, possibilities, that's the word I was looking for. Seeing all the possibilities, versus seeing what they're actually putting in, right? So, we could have potential to the nth degree, but if somebody's not taking the actionable steps toward that, again, it's not really going to pan out in the way that you hoped. I also feel like for some of you, just because she looks mega stressed out, for some of you, it's like you look at all the different potential in front of you, and there's a lot of anxiety about making the right choice. Oh my God, I'm sorry. And like where to invest your time, your energy, your hope. Again, it's really that optimism is what I'm picking up, that hope. And so for some of you, this new chapter, this new journey is where you're going to have a much more balanced perspective, and you're going to have much greater discernment about where to spend your time. And for some of you, I will say, with the Three of Pentacles reversed, this might mean that you're kind of really, I wouldn't say full on hermit mode, but you're betting on yourself first and foremost, and other people are having to kind of, like, there's more of a barrier to your energy in the sense of like, other people have to prove themselves more. You're not just giving them, the keys to the castle just because you see the potential in them. Because I feel like that's if you pick this group, that's one of your better qualities, is you see people's highest good, people's highest potential. And the thing is like, I think that's been hard for you because it's kind of been like, if you put your faith in someone and it falls apart, it's kind of just been like, well, was I, am I crazy? Was I just like imagining things, seeing what I want? And I feel like this is your spiritual team kind of trying to tell you like, no, it doesn't mean that you're wrong, but, it also doesn't mean that that person will always rise to the occasion. I could hand 3 different people the ingredients to bake a cake, but maybe only one of them will actually bake one, right? It's they might all have the skills, like if I hand them all the ingredients and a recipe and all the supplies they need, they can all read the recipe, they can all do the actions, but like maybe only one of them, does the work, has the motivation, has the drive, has the excitement to like, you see what I mean? Is like, I feel like people are having to come forward and prove to you more now that they have that extra something, not just the raw potential, in order to get your investment. And I think that's actually going to serve you moving forward. Yeah, so this new cycle is really about a lot more. Oh, that's what I was going to say before. There we go. That's the download that fell out of my brain. For some of you, you've been in this process, and it might be in more than one partnership or relationship, because you're clearing out all the partnerships where like I know they're putting the tiles together, but it almost looks like they're dismantling them right now. It's like you're clearing out all the partnerships where there's a lack of reciprocity. This is usually about spiritual partnership as well, but it's reversed. So all the things that are not aligning to your soul's purpose, your journey, this next stage of your life, these partnerships are getting cleared out. These soul partnerships getting cleared out. Because I feel like that might be part of the Seven of Cups energy for some of you, is that you're kind of on a different path, a different trajectory, and you've wrapped up this huge cycle in order to begin the next stage, right? And it's like these partnerships don't fit anymore. They don't fit who you were. They don't fit your energy, what you're bringing to the table anymore. So this was the end of an era. This was a really big ending. We saw that with the World reverse coming up at the bottom. You're wrapping up this huge cycle because a new one is taking place where there's going to be a lot of options, a lot of different paths you can take. So you need people who are on your team and in your corner, who are going to support your spiritual growth. So I think that is just about everything that I have for group 1. I hope this has been helpful. If you are looking for help with your specific situation, please feel free to reach out, DM. I do take custom readings. I will put my email in the description box because I've been intermittently, there's cat fur here, having a little bit of issues with my Etsy shop. So just in case, you're welcome to reach out and email me directly. But yeah, it's been an honor and a joy to read for you today. I hope I get to again in the future, and I'm wishing you guys the best, brightest, most beautiful things that life has to offer. Take care, love bugs. Bye. to... Okay, so you guys were drawn into this throat chakra stone that says, I speak. Mercury retrograde is famous for communication, either issues with communication or people, coming in to communicate about something. Retrogrades are always a time for wrap-ups, things from the past to come back so we can revisit them, either to move forward or, clear blockages or to release them. So I feel like this retrograde was either a time where you got significant communication, or as it wraps up, you're preparing for significant communication. A lot of you... this feels very powerful. This feels like you have a deep-seated truth. It's like there's this energy of like, I just see two people where there's been so much that's happened between them, and like maybe there was a long silence or separation or no contact, but I'm almost getting the sense that you have something to say, and it is to somebody in particular, but it's about so much more than just you and them or the cycle that was going on between the two of you. It's like you claiming your truth, in a very powerful way. Like I see, especially if you struggle with like maintaining eye contact in difficult conversations, like I see you holding their eye contact, whether they keep looking or not, you're looking right at them and you're not afraid, right? And it's not aggressive. It's just like you're not afraid of your own truth anymore. And this is something that I feel like, retrograde has been preparing you for, or again, this came back during retrograde, and it is about this situation. It is about, I'm seeing one other person in particular, but it's about a lot more than that. It's got deep roots. They're showing me a tree with like the roots like splintering out really far underground. So this situation is very deeply rooted in your personal journey, your personal truth. Again, like laying claim to your particular truth. So yeah, let's see what else comes out for you. I'm going to look at your oracle cards first and then, excuse my hiccup, then flip your tarot. I'm just putting it to the side. Because I learned from the last group that I'm not good with spacing out the cards. So we have, okay, I'm not surprised. Oh boy, Rose Quartz, Venus, Empathy, card 14, so that reduces to a 5. So you guys are my love group, okay. That's interesting actually, because the images they were showing me as I was just describing them to you a minute ago was, they were like showing me images of a conversation that I had with an ex, and so I was like, oh, maybe I almost said like this might be a romantic partner, just to the personal symbolism, but then I didn't say it, and I should have. Shoot. So we have, survival. Okay, this is card 19, so that reduces to a 10/1. Oh, gifts. This is card 6. And, oh boy, all right, soulmate. All right, so you guys are my love group, and granted, this retrograde was all about healthy partnerships. Can you guys see all that? Let me just peek real quick. Oh, hello, fantastic. Okay. So for many of you, this is likely romantic. It does not have to be. For some of you, this is something I'm hearing 5 months ago. So for some of you, just because these look like little pentacles, so for some of you, there may have been a significant event that transpired, that was weird, transpired 5 months ago. This is weird, but you guys could be born 5 months apart. It could have been 5 months since you talked to this person. Does not have to be, but that's kind of what I'm getting. You know what I'm kind of getting here? I'm really like honing in on these two cards. I feel like one of you, there's an imbalance here, first and foremost. And I feel like in part because one of you was very generous with your time, energy, emotions, labor, and the other person's really in survival mode. If you notice on this card, this person's in the boat, there's the light shining down, the kind of hands of, either the divine, their higher self, whatever it might be, reaching out for them. And we have all these sharks, and then the sharks, though, are pointed the other way. They're swimming away from the boat. And if you think about this person and what that might look like for them, is that it's like, if they just see the shadows of the sharks moving around them, they might not know what's happening or where they're going. So this person has a lot of fear. What I'm hearing is they always have. This has been a very long held pattern for them. Again, that deep roots. very deeply ingrained for them. This person might be very used to being incredibly guarded. They might have a lot of trust issues. This person might be also very, it's not stingy, what is it? It's like protective of their resources, and not just material, but I mean like their time even. They don't like to give away pieces of information about them because they've had enough experiences with people they used to be close to that have shown them that being vulnerable and open just leads to attack. Like what I'm hearing is brutal attack. Like even this guy standing up in the boat, like what are you gonna do? Like jump out of it? Like, I don't know. It's just, even if like a shark attacks, like what does standing in the boat do? But this person's so tensed for attack that like this person, I feel like, likes to maintain a lot of control in their life. I don't think they like to control other people necessarily, but they almost do from the level of control that they have in their life. So if you try to like give this person compliments, right, they probably like, they're uncomfortable. They might like rebuff that. They might even like rebuff that to the level where it's almost like a counterattack, right, where they kind of like brush off what you have to say, to the level where I'm hearing where it's like almost rude. And they're not trying to like be a jerk about it. This person's just very guarded, right? We have these three little angels that are celebrating open gifts, stuff like that. It's making me think of the Three of Cups. Like this person really struggles to connect joyfully to other people in a deep and meaningful way, because at the core of their being, there is still a really deep wound from whatever they have experienced, where they are blocked toward receiving love, because it's almost kind of like scar tissue, but like really deep scar tissue that's not able to, they haven't really healed that, and it's not able to get through very well. So it's like you could be giving them, 10 out of 10 love, affection, energy, but they're really only receiving, 20% of that. It's just, and it's not personal to you. This person has been like this in general. You guys have, this is a soulmate at the very least, right? There's only one card in this whole deck that's like this, and it's this one. You guys spiritually just see each other. And the thing I think was really difficult about this relationship is that because of that, you may have just like naturally kind of bonded with this person. They may have felt really comfortable opening up to you. You may have kind of been able to like psychically communicate with them, and you just can divine information about them, or you can like, you always, there could be like a telepathic bond. You just know what they're going to say. They might see signs of you everywhere and vice versa, and that's very new for them. But there's a level to which, because you have this soul connection, where they normally can shut everybody else out. It's like, look, this box is open, and the rest, they're opening them. This one's really closed, but this one's just like open. There may be a level to which they almost feel invaded is the word I'm thinking, like I'm hearing. Well, they're showing me the word invaded. So they may almost feel like this energy that, because you have this soul connection with them, they almost feel like invaded, right? Because they like to keep people out, keep people at arm's length, and you kind of got closer than most people do. And there's a level to which they're conflicted within themselves, because they like that. They like feeling that closeness. They like having that bond. It's almost kind of like they're showing me like somebody like leaning in for a kiss, and then they kind of like have this like, whoa, what am I doing moment. So this person may have gotten very close to you, and then everything kind of, went to hell in a handbasket. This person could have really hot and cold behavior. This person could, things could have been going along really well, and then this person kind of had that huge, like, I don't know if I'm hearing the phrase schism of fear. It's like there is this moment where they kind of realized you were getting close to them and freaked the hell out, and that was the dividing factor in the relationship. That was like the before and after point in the relationship. So maybe you guys broke up at that point. Maybe they ghosted, they left you behind. Maybe that was just the point where the relationship took a really negative turn. But I do kind of get this energy of self-sabotage. This person may have withdrawn and wanted to like be alone a lot. Or like be alone in the ways that matter. So even if you're seeing them, out with friends, or like surrounded by people, these are not people who connect to them, and that's why. So they're around people, but nobody's really connecting in that same way. And that's because you triggered like a deep, like almost primal fear within this person. But we do have this as a 10/1, meaning I do feel like part of the reason you guys came together was to help this person close out this cycle. And there's likely mirroring here. If you notice with this card, there's the little two oyster shells and there's the pearls here. First of all, you know, it's card 14 that reduces to a 5. 5s are all about challenges, excuse my burp, and changes. So I can tell this was not an easy situation. But there was a lot of love here, right? We have this empathy quality going on. Like I said, the two little oysters with the pearls. And if you've been on my channel for a minute, first of all, thank you. And even if you haven't, thank you for being here now. But you've heard me probably talk about pearls before, but I'm going to keep talking about them again. So, you know, they do make me think of wisdom, right? Pearls of wisdom and the lessons we learn. But the way that a pearl is created is that an irritant, and it's usually a grain of sand, but not always, but an irritant will get inside the shell of a mollusk and will irritate the mollusk's soft tissues. And so the mollusk secretes a substance called nacre. I think that's how you say it, but it's spelled N-A-C-R-E. And this is that like pearly iridescent substance, and they will just coat the irritant over and over and over and over and over again in the hopes of, you know, protecting its delicate soft tissue. Sorry, there's cat fur. I really tried to lint roll this thing, but it's whatever. My cat just wants to be a part of the action, even when he's not here. But they'll just like coat the irritant over and over and over and over again in the hopes that, you know, to protect its soft tissue. And at the end, you have this beautiful pearl, but it's derived from repeated exposure to something irritating or uncomfortable, essentially. So not only is it the lessons we've learned, but it's the lessons we've learned through repeated challenges, repeated discomfort. So you and this person may have had multiple cycles like this. You could be hot and cold, on and off, back and forth. There could just be like a lot of ups and downs. And this is because there is an element to which this person would like enjoy, like appreciate and enjoy the connection with you. But then also have all this fear triggered up at the same time. It's like, I don't know if you guys ever get into attachment theory. There's one particular channel that I adore, and it's the Personal Development School with Thais Gibson. She is, you know, so knowledgeable about attachment theory. I highly recommend, if you're interested in the subject, checking out her channel. She's amazing. But she talks about the dismissive avoidant attachment style, and she describes it as it's always their feelings minus their fears, right? So if their feelings are, you know, an 8 out of 10, and their fears are a 5 out of 10, it's a net 3 out of 10. And that's the phrase that kept coming up, is like feelings minus fears. So this person may have a lot of feelings for you. There might be these moments where that 8 out of 10 really shows, and then these other moments where the fears kick in, it's back down to what appears to be like a 3 out of 10. And this is because they have a lot of fears that are activated by this connection, again, because they have a lot of unresolved I'm feeling like, excuse my coughing, by the way, my allergies are terrible. I'm feeling like there's a lot of early trauma here. So this is either, you know, childhood kind of trauma, or there's like a very early, like first love kind of a thing that just like absolutely messed them the hell up. And like, it just hit them like a ton of bricks, is what I'm kind of seeing. And this is why this connection with you is very challenging, especially if you'll notice on this picture, this man is shirtless, and so any type of like nakedness always implies vulnerability. It's like you guys have this soul bond, and this person has this layer, this inner part of themselves that is very rarely known to anyone. This is usually something they just, you know, have when they're alone, essentially. And there's something about the relationship you share and the soul bond that you have where you either have seen this part of them at least a little bit, because right, we just see his shoulders, or like you just understand these things about them. There's the implication that like if they participated in this relationship more, or they opened up more, like you would easily know more about them than anybody else ever has. And there's like this energy of like, you know, if this past situation you know, could damage them that hard, it's like, what would happen if I really let somebody into my life and see these parts of me? Like, how would I ever recover from that if I'm already struggling? And these aren't like conscious thoughts this person probably has, but it's like they might have these thoughts of like, well, how do I really know I can trust, group 2? How do I really know? It's like, I think they know they're guarded, but they don't know how deeply it goes because they're not acknowledging the emotions of, betrayal, of like just this really deep fear. They're not acknowledging those wounds, but they're acknowledging the impact a little bit of like, well, how do I know I can trust them? Like, what if and I think they think about it in like more of a material sense of like, what if let's say you guys wanted to take the next step and move in together. It's like, well, how would I share my space? What if this person wants all my time? And they just like, they like sit there and play the what if game to talk themselves out of giving it an honest shot. So I do see themes around this type of a connection coming up during Mercury retrograde. And this might be where, it was kind of all quiet on the Western Front for you, but this person was really sitting here thinking about it. So let's look at your tarot because I want to know more. We have, yeah, exactly, 8 of Swords. They're sitting here thinking about it. I like how it looks like the blinds here. This is the Sufi Tarot, by the way. Like, it is gorgeous. I highly recommend it. Wow, okay, the King of Swords. Yeah, air sign energy big time here. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius in the mix. So someone's all up in their head. And the 8 of Cups. Okay, yeah, so either this is a situation where, it's interesting we have 2 8s as well. I feel like you and this person already parted ways for many of you. Or it's a situation where you guys are trying to decide if it's time to part ways. And if that's the case, it's because with the desert image here, it's like this person's in the desert. This person's a love camel. Like they can, it's kind of true though. I'm laughing because I had an ex say that to me at one point. They're like, I guess I'm just a love camel, but it's very similar energy. That's why I'm thinking about it. But it's kind of like this energy where, this person has learned to, the water represents our emotions. This person has learned to survive off of very little from anybody else, as well as very little of their own emotions. They're not acknowledging them. They're not, they don't really go too deep with it. They think about just getting through the day, right? I feel like this person could be prone to trying to distract themselves from their emotions with overthinking. This person's very much in their head. Like that's where they're comfortable, and it's because they do have these really deep, painful emotions that need to be processed. This person might also try to like be a workaholic or just distract themselves with escapist tendencies across the board, right? I'm hearing shuffling around, so this person might like shuffle around their escapism so they don't, it's like this person, might spend a couple months where they're really like going out and socializing and partying kind of a lot, and then they're like, ooh, I should probably not do that, right? And then they then compensate by going and being a workaholic for a couple months, and then they're just like, oh, I should probably come up for air, right? It's like this energy where they can recognize that they're using these different things for like unhealthy coping strategies, but then they just shuffle it around to a different coping strategy, which is understandable, right? I'm not shitting on that, but like I don't think they're really like fully recognizing that whether it's gambling, shopping, compulsive shopping, drinking, being a workaholic, whatever it might be, these are all symptomatic of the same root cause, which is trying to cope, trying to numb themselves, trying to outrun some very significant pain. And I'm almost getting the feeling that this is more talking about what happened for your person during retrograde than for you. They're having a lot of time to sit and think. If there's been a separation, they're really thinking about how much you gave to them and the type of connection you had. With this empathy energy here, they're not only looking at everything that they've learned from you and the connection, but they're also looking at, like, I think they're getting a new lease on your effort in the relationship. And they're kind of like, oh, wow, group 2 actually was showing up. Like, oh, group 2 really did, really did care. If you guys are in some type of separation and they've made it clear either by stating it directly or through their actions that they don't really want to be talking, they don't want to communicate, it's something where it's like you've let them, whatever they've kind of shown you that they want out of the situation, you've kind of respected that. So if they've like ghosted, you haven't been chasing them, I'm just fixing this. If they, you know, said like, I need some space, you've given them that space. And it's kind of like, I feel like there's something to which, you know, especially with the shark imagery here, it's like they might be used. Oh my God, there's this cute fat little squirrel with an acorn in its mouth outside my window. Oh, you big booty boy, you're so cute. Okay. Oh, bless your little squirrely heart. Okay. Excuse me. I'm back here on this planet now. So yeah, it's kind of like this energy where with the shark imagery, they might be used to kind of like having people like come after them either aggressively or because they want something from them. And so the fact that you've just kind of left them alone, you've let them do their thing, it has like I want to do a sigh of relief, like it's given them more room to breathe. For some of you, they have other things in their life that they are trying to survive. Essentially, they're trying to make their way through. And it's kind of like this energy where I feel like they weren't giving you the proper attention. And there's almost like this energy where they may have either taken a step back or cut the relationship loose because they really felt like they couldn't meet your needs. And they're sort of this retrograde, they've been getting a new perspective on the situation. So I want to know what's going to happen next with this person, because for many of you, this situation, what's being described here, I feel like is more on your person's end. And you may have been meditating on this relationship and your role in it as well. But this person is really sitting and thinking about the connection, how much you were giving and loving. Like these energies, just look how different this is from this. Like this is connection. This is soul family. These are, a loving, generous, giving energy. This is, abandonment, being completely isolated, alone. This is danger. This is fear. This is people wanting to take from you, wanting to hurt you. And the night and day difference, I think your person's really sitting and thinking about it. This person might be thinking about how to communicate as well. So let's see what is going to happen next between you and this person, because I do feel like they've had a lot of time to think. Yeah, the moon reversed at the bottom. They're getting more clarity on their feelings. They're also getting more clarity on being able to point to their behavior and be like, okay, maybe I did this out of fear. Maybe I did this because of this. They're starting to see it differently, and thus it's allowing them to at least kind of internally and like to themselves take more responsibility. So we have the Queen of Swords. Look at you, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. God, this deck is gorgeous. I can't get over it. The Six of Wands reversed. I can see where this is going. And the Four of Cups reversed. Okay, all right. So here's the thing. For many of you, like I said, this is probably a love relationship here. This person sees you now as their counterpart. We have the doves here as well. They see you as a bringer of peace in their life, right? You're not here to hurt them. You're not here to take from them. You're here to help them. You're here to give. You're here to enjoy something peaceful and build something peaceful together, right? She's standing right here. It's like welcoming them into this new chapter. Again, we have the image of a 10 and a 1 on that card. So the ending and a new beginning. And they recognize with the Six of Wands that they botched this. For some of you, you might be dealing with a Sagittarius, just with the bow and arrow here, or somebody born in year of the horse in the Chinese zodiac. But they're recognizing, like, this is this energy of, like, oh, shit, I messed this up. Like, they're recognizing now, because just, like, look at the abundance here. They're recognizing everything you were offering them, everything you were trying to give them, and he's just sitting here with his little man bun, not paying attention. Especially, too, if you look at the surrounding kind of imagery here. We have little bits of grass here, but there's very little growth, right? There's very little like abundance. Vegetation in the tarot and in oracle always talks about growth and abundance and fertility, and there's very little here except this. It's like this is the path. This is the path toward growth, toward abundance, toward again that fertility, like having it all. And this is what you were offering, right? And I feel like, especially too with this image, it's like you offered multiple times, multiple ways. You may have been offering this in multiple areas of their life. Like, so example, maybe they also got along with your friends really well, or they would have also, fit really well into your family. You guys could have not only had plans for a relationship together, but also starting a business together. It's like you would have improved their life in multiple ways. and they are seeing it now. They're recognizing now, because I feel like they left you high and dry, or they essentially walked away, whether they officially left or like they just they just kind of stopped really putting an effort into the relationship, and it's just kind of not in a good place right now. They're recognizing that they left you high and dry. They're the ones who messed this up. And they, with the Four of Cups now being reversed, I do still feel like they're thinking about it, because I'm really drawn into his body language. They're thinking about it. He's looking at this. He's looking at, this is victory, success, public recognition. In a relationship context, this card upright can talk about making things official, or like taking a big step. And your person's looking at this like, shit, I messed up. Because they're now seeing the potential. Look at even the image of this doorway, which, God, it's gorgeous. I'm going to eventually stop saying that, but not today. Where there's like the multiple, like multiple ridges, multiple layers almost. It kind of looks like it's emanating out. Like this, there's this recognition again that there was this path offered so much growth, so many, opportunities, would have kind of like, what I'm hearing is checked so many of the boxes. And your person's been sitting during retrograde and thinking about this and being like, oh my God. And your person's also too, with this image, seeing how, really focusing on the similarities between the two of you as opposed to any differences. And in all the ways that matter. Again, they're now kind of seeing you as counterparts. They're feeling like, with this being, the sword suit about communication and the mental realm, they're seeing you as not only somebody who is an equal intellectually, but they're also seeing you as somebody who communicates in a way that's compatible with them, and I think that's very important for this person. And they're seeing you as somebody who understands them. Again, like you just inherently understand them. You guys might have great communication. If this person doubted you at all, especially due to the past people in their life, like doubted your honor, your authenticity, they're now really seeing you as a person who is trustworthy, who is honorable. They may have heard some false information beforehand from somebody else. There may have been people interfering in the connection, and that's why they wanted to kind of keep it on the DL here. But they're now seeing you in a very different light, a very different context. I do kind of want to clarify, because I feel like this person's still thinking, they're still contemplating, but I want to know what they're actually going to do next. Okay, Four of Pentacles, the Queen of Cups, and the Moon reversed. Okay, so, and the Six of Pentacles reversed at the bottom. This person, I do feel like, wants to reach out and wants to make an amends, wants to balance the scales, wants to give to you in a way that you have given to them. But I am going to be completely honest. This person right now is not ready to move forward. I feel like this person is still needs time to just kind of be sitting in their feelings. We have the Queen of Cups here. This person is like, thinking about you. We have water sign energy, Cancer and Pisces here, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces here. This person's going to be really sitting and meditating on this for a while. Normally in terms of time frame with the Four of Pentacles, this would be like 4 months. I don't feel like it will be that, for some of you it will be that long. For others, I'm almost getting, it could be 3 months, because I'm really drawn to the archways here. But for some of you, I'm getting like, you're looking at like another I'm hearing 4 to 6 weeks. But this person needs more time to kind of sit in their feelings. This Pisces moon that we just had recently may have kind of knocked them on their ass a little bit. But they're really, this is why, because they're really sitting in their feelings. They're finally looking at their feelings, and they've been avoiding doing that for quite some time. So I don't know if this person's really going to be ready to reach out. If they do, this is going to be where they want to talk first. They might not want to like take things forward or, try to get back together, but this person does want to talk. They might want to start by like spending time together. They're still gathering their thoughts, because they're just sitting there marinating in their emotions. But this is something that I do feel like, as retrograde wraps up, they're going to be, they have this conviction now of like, all right, I'm starting to see how this all fits together. I need to do something about this. So they're still like unpacking it, but with the understanding and the knowledge that they are coming towards you as soon as they kind of get a good handle on their feelings and what to do with those and what they want out of the situation. Whether you choose to try to listen to them or rekindle something is completely up to you, love bugs. I always say do what is best and most empowering for you. But this is kind of where they're at. So this is as retrograde wraps up. This is kind of what you can expect to be coming in for you over the next, really I'm feeling like the next 4 weeks for many of you. So I hope that has been helpful, love bugs. Thank you so much for being here. It's been an honor and a joy to get to read for you. I hope I get to again in the future. And with that, take care. Bye. Hi, group 3. Okay. Ooh, I like this energy. So you guys were drawn into the crown chakra stone that says, I know. A lot of you, I'm getting spiritual purpose. This could be in regards to your career or just how to integrate more of your spirituality into your daily life. But there's this energy of like, I'm getting this like, I know energy. It's like, I know what I'm here to do. I know what I need to do. I know, like you've heard the voice of spirit whisper in your ear in one way or another during retrograde, or you've had like confirmation and you're like, all right, hot dog, let me at 'em. I know what I'm here to do. Like, I feel like a lot of you, especially if you've been very low energy or you've been in hermit mode for the majority of retrograde, I feel like you're like ready to go, or you're getting ready to go. They're showing me this is a really weird image. They're showing me the image of like a gigantic person with a straw, and they're like almost like you blow a spitball, but instead of blowing a spitball, it's like you wrapped up as like you're in like a little cannonball position. So you're just like being like shot out of this straw, and it's like, but it's very happy energy. It's like wee. So this feels like spirit is preparing to, especially with if you think about that image where there's the air used to like blow a spitball, and air is representative of the mental realm. This could be where you're getting a lot of downloads, you're getting a huge amount of clarity, and this is meant to propel you forward, direct you in a very like laser focus kind of a way, or like you're having the energy, you're having the ideas, you're gonna be like shooting forward, like huge momentum here. I like it. Ooh, goosebumps. So I'm going to save your tarot for after. I want to start out with your oracle cards, but let's look a little closer at this. Oh, yes. All right, hematite, root chakra, culmination. I almost said elimination, so keep that in mind. But this is card 7. We have service. All right, here it is. You guys, I'm going to die. This is so cool. Priorities, damn. Okay, master teacher, and this is card 12, so that reduces to a 3. I'll move my little chunk of rose quartz here. And deprivation, okay. Prosperity guides here, and this is 34, so that's another 7. Okay. So we have a lot of material energy here as well. A lot of you, I almost feel like maybe you were struggling really heavily with your job or your career. There could be an element where maybe you've been, there's like something has been restricted. This has got, big Saturn energy here. Something has been restricted, and I feel like you've been struggling with it for a while, and there's a material element attached. So this could be like, you can't stand where you're living, or with the palm trees here, there's like a lack of security, right? A lack of longevity. This would be where there's issues with your like physical house. Again, if this is work, this is like you're struggling a lot to have a solid foundation, right? Again, I read culmination as elimination at first. So there's something that needed to go. And I feel like this is something that felt foundational. And I don't feel like it's like, oh, I'm holding on for fear of what comes next. I feel like it's like when you think of making changes, this thing didn't even factor in, because it's like, it almost felt like it was unrelated. So like, let's say you were really unhappy with work, right? I feel like there's an element to which you were kind of like not, okay, so let's say, for example, let's say this is where, where you live is fine, but maybe you have like some difficult like neighbors that you just kind of put up with, and you're like, yeah, it's part of it. Or I'm hearing HOA, so some of you have to deal with the HOA, and it's just like a big pain in the ass, and you're kind of, but you accept it, right? It's like, yeah, that's part of living in this neighborhood. That's part of owning a home. That's part of dealing with XYZ. And then on the other side, you might be struggling in your career, like struggling for fulfillment, struggling materially. And it's like, but this job allows me to, pay my mortgage. So like, I feel like in your head, when you're thinking about changes that you need to make in your life, you're focusing on the job, not realizing that like, if you were able to move, if you sold your house, this might unlock other things. It's that idea of like, things are interconnected energetically. So sometimes, we might be having issues in one area of our life and not realize that it can be connected to another area. And those are just like examples. And I don't want to say like, oh, just move, just sell your house, like it's NBD here, because there's a lot that goes into it. But this is just like to illustrate that there's a connection that I feel like you are struggling to make. And this almost has a little bit of like a tower energy where like there might be a shakeup where there's like a significant like loss of a job, or there's a significant issue in your home that requires you move, or maybe there was like a huge like a natural phenomenon that threatened your physical home. There's something where things were like shaken up and changed. But with deprivation, there is an element to which there is a part of your everyday stability that kept you in a box and made you feel like you didn't have enough. And the whole entire point of this has not been to punish you, but it's been to help you shift your priorities, right? Again, leave something behind because he's running away from it. And we have, 12, which reduces to a 3, and that's a number all about expansion as well as self-expression. So what I feel like this is here, I feel like this retrograde has been like here to help you with is either seeing all the pieces come together, or like to help put you in a spot where you're getting clarity, because whatever's coming out of this is helping point you toward your spiritual purpose. Like this is very, like your life purpose. This is very, very clear for this group. And so if you're not fully aware of what this is yet, you are going to be coming into awareness, particularly over the rest of Libra season, with this I know energy. It's like, all right, I know what I'm here to do. I know what to do next. And this is that culmination energy. But I do feel like it comes from something being taken away, severely reduced, or eliminated from your life. I will say, and this is not for everybody, for some of you, you may have had an elderly family member, or just like an ailing family member where you've been taking care of them. And it's like, you may have had them like where you may have been taking care of them, and then either their care has shifted elsewhere. So let's say they were in the home and now they're in an assisted living facility, or, unfortunately, if they have transitioned back into the non-physical, if they've passed on. And there's this complicated feeling where it's like there's been this loss of not only the daily routine, but of also this person in your everyday life and the way they were. There's an element of, again, service here. So you were doing something for somebody else. You were serving somebody else. You were showing up for somebody else. And I do feel like this is something that you do out of love. That, like, I'm getting this energy of, like, I have no problem doing this. Like, never complain a day in your life about it. But it did create significant, extra effort, energy expenditure, work for you. And that's the things we do for love, what we care about gets our energy and our attention. But there's something where there's been a shift in this situation in your life. I don't know what I'm getting to with the little water pitcher in the cup. Water is always indicative of our emotions. And it's kind of this energy of like, I feel like you had to like very carefully pour out your emotions in the situation. So like if you're dealing with an elderly family member, it's like you had to kind of hold back on your emotions, like how you were feeling in any given day kind of had to be on the back burner. And anybody who's had to caretake for anyone of any age can attest to the fact that, as a caretaker, your responsibility is always that other person. So sometimes you have to be willing and able to put your own stuff aside. And there also might be this element to which if you had a complicated relationship with this person, like let's say this is a parent and you had a difficult maybe childhood, this situation that came about, even though it was difficult, it may have seemed like a loss, or it may have seemed like an added struggle. was meant to help you work through some childhood things. So there's been this significant change as a result, and what I feel like is happening is that you're kind of like unraveling the mystery. You're putting the pieces together, and there is this culmination in order to help you reprioritize and build a stronger foundation for yourself. And this is cool. I mean, that's not cool if you're dealing with some really significant complex grief or but like, you know, this idea of like finding your purpose as a result, the spiritual context here is cool. But yeah, let's look a little closer. Let's look at your tarot, love bug. Wow, okay, with the Wheel of Fortune. Beautiful. And look at all the water that's being poured out here. Interesting, because the Wheel of Fortune doesn't usually have that. The Emperor reversed. Okay. I'm not surprised. And then the Hierophant reversed. All major arcana. This is a big deal. So we have Jupiter energy showing up here. We have Aries energy showing up, and then Taurus energy, both reversed. So for some of you, this is a masculine that you were taking care of. This could have been like an aging father. This could have, like I said, been an Aries or a Taurus. But you know, the Emperor, actually both the Emperor and the Hierophant are really foundational energies. This is somebody with whom you absolutely shared a spiritual connection with these two cards. This is a situation where I feel like, because these are also very, very stubborn energies sometimes, I feel like, you know, either this situation was like very persistently difficult for you, and it just kept kind of, they're showing me the symbol for a quincunx in astrology, which is kind of like something keeps coming up over and over and over again. It will keep boomeranging back into your life until you deal with it or solve the problem. And it's very, very challenging. It's a challenging aspect. For some of you, this is like, again, a relationship with somebody who is foundational to you. You guys have a spiritual, like a very major spiritual contract. And this has been like, I'm hearing disintegrated. This has kind of like been given back to spirit again. So if somebody has passed on, I could see that, but this situation that you were in has been given back to spirit, because it's time that the wheel turn in your favor. It's time that it brings you closer to your destiny, right? Your life purpose. I'm being called to split the deck and take this one out. Yeah, Judgment reverse. Wow, another major arcana. Okay. Because there's something where I feel like something's coming back around now, right? And with all the butterflies, because you've experienced probably several layers of transformation, but something is coming back around. Something within you is being resurrected. And what I feel like this is that, you know, if this doesn't have to do with, like, if these don't represent this other person that you were maybe, you know, caretaking for, what this situation has been meant to like cultivate for you is breaking down something that, again, you thought was like non-negotiable. It was part of your foundation. It just is. It's just part of your life, part of who you are, part of what you were going to do. And there's something where it may have been taken out of your life, and with all the water spilling out, this is likely a very huge period of emotional purging for you. Listening to music or like to like frequencies especially might help a lot at this time. Spending time to meditate and do breath work may also really help. But there's something where, if, you know, this was something has been taken away and it was like foundational to you. And this is because you're being urged forward toward your destiny. This may have happened, I'm hearing 4 or 5 months ago, back in April or May, and you're now starting to see the pieces come together, you know, 6 months later. It's like you're now starting to see the pieces come together and starting to understand. And there's something where I feel like, again, with this Judgment reversed, it's coming back around, but you're also seeking it out this time. You know, we had that image again of like the straw that I was talking about earlier. And Spirit is trying to like direct you, like beeline toward your destiny. I want to know what this destiny is, though. The star, of course. Perfect. There's that destiny showing up. The 5 of Cups. Okay, yeah. And the 6 of Pentacles. I want to look at this one too, though. And then the Three of Pentacles reversed. So, and we have Temperance at the bottom. So first of all, you're in a period of healing. So this, again, I know it sounds not great, but this period of loss and of grief was absolutely part of this. It was like, this is fated, right? And it's in order to help you get closer to your divinely guided path, right? For a lot of you, this has to do with unlocking your emotions, particularly if you've been very in your masculine energy, regardless of gender, identity, or expression. If you've been very in your masculine energy, or you've had a lot of trapped emotions because you're used to having to be in this energy, maybe, you know, when life gets tough, you buckle down and you just, you know, you really grit your teeth and get that much more into it. But there's something about what you have lost that has broken forward a lot of, like, it's broken a dam essentially. And like, cause look at all the water pouring out here, the water pouring out here. You know, it's like, I feel like this situation was meant to help break down walls and barriers. Again, it's like eliminating was what I saw, elimination. So it's like helping you purge a lot of old emotions, because I feel like these old emotions come from a wound of an imbalance in give and take. Again, you might be very comfortable in your masculine energy where you're always serving other people. You're always doing things for other people, but you struggle to accept help. You struggle to let people do things for you, right? The Three of Pentacles is, you know, teamwork makes the dream work. And then it's followed up by the Six of Pentacles, where we have equal give and take and reciprocity. You might struggle to reach out for help, and this situation has challenged you to, you know, need to accept help. And this entire situation has taken something from you to help you not only purge old emotions, but be willing to accept help from other people, accept love from other people, accept, what I'm hearing is bounty from other people, right? And this is this energy where the universe is like, I say this a lot, especially for those who have a hard time receiving. It's like, you know, imagine if the universe had its own hands and arms and legs, it could just walk up to your door and give you, you know, your abundance, but it doesn't. So it sends people into your life and opportunities, and that's the universe giving you your good karma, your due, you know, your just rewards. And a lot of people who end up in positions of service, both spiritual and otherwise, have a part of their journey where they struggle to really accept, they struggle to receive. And so whatever has happened here, this situation has served to help break down a barrier to receiving. And I also feel like this will help you cultivate a lot more healthy connections in your life moving forward. Excuse me. So you may have had a huge period of emotional purging during retrograde, or like a lot of insight around these themes for yourself, right? And again, that Libra Virgo energy, how to be of service to others in a healthy capacity, and then also how to let other people balance it out and be of service to you. So there's something where like this is a foundational part of who you are, but there were cracks in this foundation that needed to be healed. And so in terms of what's wrapping up, you know, old beliefs, old programs, and thus old situations that have been born of those beliefs, that are centered around, you know, overgiving, being overly self-sacrificial, people-pleasing, struggling to receive, etc., being imbalanced in masculine and feminine energies. This is what is wrapping up, along with a lot of emotional purging, a lot of grief work, in order to make room for healthier connections, healthier give and take. I do want to get like a little more clarity about what else is coming in as a result of this reprioritization. Okay, Two of Pentacles, yep, better balance. We see that, good balance. The Hermit reversed, you're coming out of Hermit mode. And the Three of Cups reversed. Okay, I want to pull one more. And then the Knight of Cups reversed. So something that I'm feeling, Five of Wands reversed. I feel like you're getting a lot more clarity, again, around good give and take, healthy balance, what a balanced connection looks like, balanced partnerships look like. And this is allowing you to come out of Hermit mode. What I do feel like for some of you though, with the Three of Cups reversed, the Knight of Cups reversed, and then we saw that Five of Wands at the bottom, is that there are going to be some opportunities. This could be at work, this could just be in your personal life, where you may have been trying to move in a particular direction, and now that you're kind of having this emotional purge, this grief work, these new epiphanies, there's going to be this recognition that like oh, that's actually not a solid partnership, right? Or like, oh, you know, it's like you were really gunning for whatever this was, and now there's this recognition of like, maybe this doesn't honor me. Maybe this, you know, maybe I wanted this based out of some, you know, old programs or some skewed kind of perception about my worth and what I deserve in relationships. So there's something where you're going to be going in a different direction now, or anything where you've been going back and forth on, especially like emotional connections, a friendship in particular, or a soul connection. If you were trying to make a decision between two people, because this is also a card decision as well, you're going to have clarity around that, and you're going to know what direction to go in. And it's very much this energy of like, you know, thanks but no thanks, or like, again, if you have two options, you're now going to know which way to go. And this is because you really heal these beliefs within yourself. So I think that's just about everything that I have for you today. I hope this has been helpful. Thank you so much for being with me. I hope I get to read for you again in the future. And I'm wishing you the best, brightest, and most beautiful things that life has to offer. Take care, love bugs. Bye.